Today's Q&A is a really good one that many should be asking if they aren't already. We've been talking about med beds for years. We've heard how in a matter of hours they can grow limbs back. We've heard that our bodies will become new, and we've heard that they are just sitting waiting, and that there is an administration station being built that is shooting for a November 2025 completion date. In the last week, President Trump signed an executive order allowing patients to buy directly from the manufacturer of a drug, cutting out all of the middlemen, which would definitely drastically reduce the cost of drugs. In this video, we are going to revisit and reassess the promise of medbeds in light of what is happening today. So today it's Medbed Update Day. Remember to like this video because that's how the machines choose what videos to show to people. You can also do that by sharing the video on Facebook, YouTube, text messages, and X. Just copy the link or the address at the top, paste and post. It looks like the channel memberships have been approved, and I was able to structure it so that everyone will still have access to all content, but there will monthly healing sessions in the upper levels. So stick around to the end for a heads up on the consultations and perks that will be available with membership to the Ex-Pharmacist YouTube channel. But now let's move on to the question that lots of us must be wondering by at Robert Loy 9381.
If medbeds will soon be here, why is Trump bothering to enact the executive action on the price of pharmaceuticals?
Great question, Robert. There will be many people that continue to use pharmaceuticals, at least for a time. We need to look at this as a long-term project, in spite of the spontaneous event that we were told would happen. Fixing this toxic sewer that we live in isn't going to happen overnight. The food makes us sick, the fish are toxic, and the livestock are full of metabolites of drugs, often active. The food packaging leaches aluminum and microplastics. Nearly everything that we drink is deceptively unhealthy. The air, whether by direct contamination or evaporated poisons, is toxic, especially in urban areas. The chemicals that we use in and around our home. The frequencies all around us, whether EMFs or sound frequencies, they are primarily harmful. The stress of living in this matrix, in and of itself, is physically harmful to the body. Everything contributes to disease, some more than others, but they all contribute. RFK Jr. is trying to remove some of the toxins. I guess they are going to revise the GARS, generally recognized as safe, list. But there will likely be notice and objection periods published in the Federal Register. There could be challenges. Nothing happens overnight in government unless it is an imminent public health threat, and then emergency actions can be taken. I worked on 3 emergency removals when I was with the government. One was an herbal product tainted with 4 powerful prescription drugs, including prednisone. I also wrote the emergency removal of OTC ephedrine in Florida, and the emergency removal and scheduling of a designer hallucinogen. So things can be removed, but there's just too many poisons to do them all by emergency orders. RFK Jr. can't clean it up overnight. So if there are anything unhealthy that can be done, some people will continue to do it. It's still going to require effort on the part of consumers. If you drink alcohol all day, the body is going to degrade. Until the poisons are removed totally, there will be people making themselves sick. My dad would argue that food was the only enjoyment in his life. Does that sound familiar to anyone? So these people are going to need ongoing care because they are going to continue to destroy the machine that gives them life. That brings the question, how often will we be able to use these med beds? It's my understanding that there will be a point in the future where home med beds will be as common as a bathroom, but that will be a while. Indulge me for a moment and we will look at that question. So people are going to continue to get sick and take drugs. Another consideration is that the placebo concept is very real. I've seen it myself many times in practice. There are people who believe that a drug will make them well, or that they need drugs to stay alive even after they use the beds. They have a mental dependency on them. With people such as this, it's possible that they may not even heal inside the beds. We must remember that some of these beds are said to have a consciousness that connects with us for our healing. They are living things, so to speak. The med beds that I am aware of are not a medical device that you plug into the wall socket, so we must get that concept out of our minds. Several have reported that are a plasmic consciousness that run on the energy of the universe. Jen Han calls it frill energy. It is the subtle energy that courses through everything. Even the physical or not-so-physical bed has been described as plasmic or pliable to the touch. This is what we are dealing with. Not everyone is going to want to do this. Then there is the issue that I've heard from many. If administration must occur off-planet, they wouldn't do it, primarily because they think they can't make the trip. Central to this notion of whether we will ever need drugs again is who owns the med beds. I've heard that the technology will be released to our scientists, and they will be mentored in designing and building them. I have talked to people who say they worked on them, but it's always the technology and not the finished product. So I don't know if our military built the stockpile beds and if they are ours or if they are on loan. I've never really heard someone address the ownership aspect, but when you think about it, we are so infantile that just handing over thousands of these med beds to us would be like giving an orangutan a stockpile of loaded guns. We must evolve. I was told that they were a gift, but does that mean that the units themselves are the gift, or that the technology and the treatment is a gift? We know that the ETs aren't going to stay here and babysit us forever. I think it was Ardaana and Thorhan Eredian that told us that we have reached the point that they are being reassigned by the end of the year and will be leaving the battleship. So whatever happens, it sounds like we are on our own, or at least operating with less supervision after the end of the year. So I have always known that there is a level of vibrational evolvement that must occur in the people. They must evolve into a being that is connected energetically. I believe there will be some sort of mentoring for this by loving ETs. We have been told to prepare for first contact. I also believe that disclosure is currently underway to heal the past and make people more receptive to energetic frequencies. One thing that we have been told is that dark corporate influences must lose control. But I suspect that some of these behemoth corporations are going to survive and Trump is going to have to work with them, but always keep the upper hand and hopefully change the leadership of these corporations. There's always a wizard behind the corporate veil. There are many questions to be answered, but there is no doubt that we are on the verge of having this technology. Did people exaggerate it 7 years ago? Absolutely. They had no idea what they were talking about. They only knew some miracle healing machine was coming, and then they embellished, and then the posers came along. And many were deliberately fed or created misinformation on the release of the beds. It's hard to know who to trust, even if you are awake. I think, like Mac has said many times, there will need to be ET disclosure before the beds come, and that sure does seem to be getting closer, doesn't it? We are preparing for something big. When that will happen is up to the people and the leaders of this planet uniting and working together to create a world where this technology will be safe. We haven't been told how often we will be able to use the beds or if they are even our own. It appears to me that the initial healing with these beds will be quite restricted but very comprehensive. I would be surprised if we could walk in whenever we want and use them, at least until we learn to make our own. As we evolve and gain command of the technology, the beds will be widely available for home use, but there will always be people who choose to take pharmaceuticals. We will be living in a world of consent where we choose our own destiny. Now, I will take a few minutes briefly explaining the memberships. I just hate when people won't let you see certain content unless you can afford to pay. So I went a route that those with memberships will receive new stuff like special icons and personalized evaluations and health consultations. So nothing is being removed. It was always my goal to help people break free from Big Pharma, and I will be able to work personally with a limited number of people to do this. I'm working out my time schedule to be able to accommodate private communications so it doesn't affect my ability to make videos for you. I'm really excited about this. A membership system is necessary for me to remain independent from any commercial influence. I'd rather receive compensation for my service to you than selling somebody's product, because I absolutely know that we can heal ourselves with lifestyle changes. There are things like energy devices and supplements that may help us, but it's very specific, and haphazardly taking something isn't the way to do it. There's so much stuff out there that you could be taking 16 supplements, or you could be taking some multi-component supplement, and nothing in it is in therapeutic amounts. Rarely is there one product that will meet all of our medical needs or correct all of our nutritional imbalances. We must look at the symptoms to determine what we need, and once we do that, there could be 100 things causing those symptoms. Not only do I not want you to waste money on the newest miracle cure, but I want you to become better quicker by getting it right the first time. So I'm glad to be getting back to why I went to pharmacy school and studied natural medicines and herbs. There'll be more information coming out for these memberships shortly, which will start just under $4, and the top level is just under $100. While the higher levels include professional evaluations and suggestions, every level supports the independence of this channel, and I made some really cute badges for you guys too. So hopefully I'll have those up in a couple of days, and your support is helping us to unite souls across the world each and every day. Until next time, please know that I'm beyond grateful for your steady presence and support.